All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. I am absolutely delighted to be able to introduce Steve Clarke to you. He's graciously agreed to join us today. Welcome, Steve. And Steve is the brand new Deputy Associate Administrator for Exploration within the Science Mission Directorate. This is a brand new position. It was just announced in the last couple of weeks at NASA, and it's very heartening, I think, to me, to Yvonne, and to everyone here, because it demonstrates SMD's desire to include exploration, human exploration, in its planning. And one of the things that it said in the announcement of Steve's new position is that part of his responsibilities will be developing an integrated approach to human and robotic exploration. How many times have all of us said that we want to avoid the silos, we want to do this together? So anyway, and then I want to also say that this is really what Survey, previously NLSI, was all about, and what this conference is all about. This is the Exploration Science Conference. We're about building these bridges. So without further ado, I am delighted to introduce Stephen Clarke. Steve, take it away. Thank you.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you. Thanks. Excellent.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to join you today. And as you heard, I'm now the Deputy Associate Administrator for Exploration, which is a brand new position here at SMD, reporting directly to Thomas Zerbuchen, our Associate Administrator. And I think the fact that this position is now in place is a hugely positive message from NASA that it's very important as we start executing this new exploration campaign that science goes with humans back to the moon and onto Mars and even beyond. So really, in a nutshell, my position description includes stitching together this long-term strategy of really ensuring that not just science requirements, but human exploration requirements and even technology development requirements are aligned as we start moving back out to the moon and to Mars. And so my primary job is to integrate, as was said, across the mission directorates at NASA to try to stitch together a efficient and effective strategy going forward, and something that can be sustainable. And I think a big part of this is including our commercial partners. And in fact, in the near term, I'm sure most people know that we have the commercial lunar services coming out, where we are going to basically, NASA, procure services from commercial entities to land on the moon. And we want to take science and technology development with those commercial partners. And we want to actually build a U.S. capability to be able to land commercially on the moon. And we NASA will be a primary customer in the beginning, but that's not our intent to stay the primary customer. We want to help build this capability so that commercial companies can utilize these services as well, going back to the moon. And so that's a big part of it in the near term. And we're looking to fly as early as 2019, which isn't that far off. So we're pretty excited about that. And we're starting to look at, we put out an RFI looking for what type of technology development instruments or just technology development items are ready to go in the near term. So we want to look at what's out there, fly early. And so that's the early part of this. We're also working closely with the Human Exploration Mission Directorate and the Space Technology Mission Directorate at the efforts to start building a capability towards the next human lander for the moon. And again, we want to take science with humans. So we're going to be hitched together in those efforts as well. Gateway is another area where we're looking at flying science instruments. So we want to be able to put science instruments on the Gateway. So we're in talks with HEO on that. And certainly from a Mars exploration standpoint, we're already at Mars from a robotic standpoint, but certainly working with human spaceflight and space technology mission directorates as we look at human missions to Mars. We're going to do everything we can to be integrated from a science standpoint as well. So this is a really interesting, fun, and exciting challenge, I think, for me personally, and certainly as I work across the agencies and with our commercial partners and our international partners as well, of how we can stitch together a long-term sustainable strategy to explore the moon and Mars and beyond. So really that's in a nutshell. One other component of this, I'm going to be looking internally in the Science Mission Directorate across our 4 science divisions and look for ways that we may be able to better integrate across those science mission or the science divisions on moving forward with maybe some new innovative ways, engaging with our commercial partners or new partners to do science as well. So pretty broad scope. And actually, I'm talking to you from NASA headquarters now. I've just been transitioning back from a 1-year detail over at the Office of Science and Technology Policy at the White House. So I'm just really getting started on this, but I'm pretty excited about what the future holds here. So with that, I guess I can open it up to questions there in the room, and hopefully I can answer them.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much, Steve. We sure appreciate you being here. And while people line up for questions, I'll maybe just make a few comments to start. First of all, we're your institute. Survey is your institute. We bridge exactly the things that you want to do, and this is your community, these people here, both the people within Survey and the people who aren't funded by Survey, and we share those concerns. And you said a couple of things that really resonate with me. First of all, doing this internationally, we have a large international component of our community that we've worked with for the decade this institute has existed, and we'd love to help bring those folks in. We just had a successful European Lunar Symposium in May in Toulouse that you might have heard about. And then also want to let you know that in terms of commercial, we had a workshop in January that discussed landing sites of interest to both science and exploration. We have a draft report that should be final within roughly a month or so, and we actually had 8 of the lunar commerce companies out here at Ames for this workshop, and a lot of people in the audience right now were at this workshop. So, so I think there's a lot of really great touch points here that we look forward to talking with you about. And,
very good.
Thank you. And so David Krang is at the mic. Go ahead, David.
Hello, Stephen. This is David Krang from the LPI. We have in the room a couple of students from Canada that are working on landing site studies for the Heracles concept that ESA, Canada, and JAXA are studying. And we also have in the audience representatives of JAXA. I wonder if you have given any thought to this human-assisted robotic sample return mission that could utilize either Orion or the Gateway?
Thanks, David. So I will say that this is probably my first full day back here at NASA. So I'm still in the mode of really learning about all of the various efforts that are going on in parallel. But you know, I'll reiterate what I had said earlier, is that certainly we'll be looking at what we can do together with our international partners as we move forward on the exploration campaign. I'm a big proponent of the international partnerships. I've been involved in international partnerships throughout my career on both the human spaceflight side and the robotic science side. So certainly going to continue to do that. And although I may not have a specific answer for everyone there on that, I'm certainly going to be looking at all of those aspects of the partnerships, looking at landing sites, looking at sample return missions, both robotically and from the human standpoint as well.
Great, thank you. Next question is from Dan Britt.
Yeah, Dan Britt from the University of Central Florida. I actually have a couple of questions. So my first is that for long-run sustainability, it's hard to do an exploration program without using local resources. And one of the problems with trying to get ISRU technology integrated into planning is the lack of maturity in a lot of the technologies. And so if we want to have that in 5 years, now is the time to start a maturation program that is across mission directorates. So can you say a few words about that and how that works into the plan?
Well, first of all, I'm going to say go Knights, since I'm an alum from UCF.
I missed most of that.
Yes.
Go Knights.
Go Knights.
Yeah.
Yes, we were undefeated last season, unlike any other Division 1A team.
I am with you. I watched those games often up here in DC, so I'm with you on that.
Very good.
So going to your ISRU question, I completely agree with you, and I think the ISRU part of this technology development is important that we start maturing right away. And I have meetings set up with the Space Technology Mission Directorate next week, as a matter of fact, to find out where we stand on several of the technology development components that pertain to ISRU. So I need to meet with them first and find out where we're going. And as I mentioned earlier, that RFI that went out from SMD looking for what type of instruments or technology development units could be ready to fly early on the commercial landers beginning in 19. I would expect there would be some ISRU technology development items that would be ready to go. And I think it's an excellent way to test out in the environment that we want to go to with more mature instruments to utilize these early commercial landing opportunities. So I'm pretty excited about learning what is ready to go or near ready to go. And I think we're moving into a different environment where I think we'll be able to fly engineering test units or not quite ready type units so that we can take them up there and learn how are they going to operate in the actual environment there, so we can mature the ISRU components for the future missions where we want to start looking for the volatiles and so forth like that.
Great. My other question is that you talk about commercial partnerships, and one thing that we try to do in Survey is to link in the commercial, governmental, and university sectors together in the same organization and try to develop synergies between them. So is Survey part of the mix in your future funding decisions with this program, and can we use our partnerships within Survey to push that program?
I do want to utilize existing partnerships, and these type of forums like Survey is an excellent way to do that. So I don't want to recreate or start from scratch. We should be using those type of forums, those type of partnerships that are working today, and leverage those as we go forward. So certainly I'm going to want to get involved with the Survey efforts that have been going on and do just that. Another part of this is I was in Houston last week. The league met with their commercial advocacy board, and I've started meeting some of the commercial partners and some of the academic folks that are involved with league. So another part of my early part of my job, I'm going to be going out and meeting folks, going out to the companies, finding out where are they at in their technology development, and not just the landers, but instruments as well. And I'm certainly going to be wanting to meet up with the Survey folks. I'm sorry I couldn't be out there this time around, but certainly when Survey meets again, I want to be able to to attend. I just couldn't put it into my schedule. That's why I'm Skyping in as opposed to being there in person.
Okay, well, I invite you to come down to Orlando and visit class in UCF and go Knights.
Go Knights. Yeah, actually, I do have I may be coming down there this fall because I was invited to come down and give a talk as an alum during my OSTP stint, but I had to push it off to the fall, so I may be down there.
Okay, well, let me know, and we'll arrange for you to give a talk at class.
Okay, will do.
Wonderful. Okay, Rick.
Hi, Steve. Thanks for joining us here today. My name is Rick Elphick. I'm at NASA Ames Research Center, Native Resource Prospector. I have a question related back to ISRU again. One of the things that the U.S. government does in the USGS is assess mineral resources from an economic, national security, and just an economic point of view for the U.S., where they are and what they are. They've recently expressed interest in evaluating that question for the moon. They consider it their charter to do so, and so the bottom line here that I'm getting to is maybe you should also talk to USGS, not to make your job harder, but just to kind of bring them into the fold and see how they might fit into the future plans that NASA has for the moon.
So Rick, your suggestion is timely. It's amazing that you bring that up because in my OSTP detail assignment, I've been working across the government on Earth observations and on space weather, and USGS plays a significant role in that. And just about 2 hours ago, I received an email from one of my USGS colleagues precisely on what you just recommended.
That's great.
So we are going to be meeting probably in the next week or two on that particular subject. So that's amazing that you bring that up now. So yeah, I should iterate then that I'm also going to be working across the U.S. government agencies as well, looking for partnerships, and certainly USGS could play into that as well. Maybe even the National Science Foundation and some others, because I have those relationships across the government. I think there are some ways we can leverage some of their resources as well to the benefit for everybody. So thank you for bringing that up. That was again, that was timely.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Good luck with the
Thanks,
work
Rick.
you have to do.
And Steve, one thing to add to that as well, you may be aware that USGS Menlo Park folks are moving here to the NASA Research Park at Ames, and so there's going to be a lot of increased possibility for collaboration, I think. So we'd like to invite you out to Ames as soon as your schedule allows.
Absolutely, and in fact, I heard that during Eugene's talk today at the Science Mission Director at Monthly. He talked about that. So again, timely. And I've been in touch with Dave Korsmeyer and Eugene, and so yes, definitely going to make a trip out to Ames here, probably within the next couple months.
Great. Yvonne?
Hi, Steve. Welcome to your new job, and welcome back to headquarters.
Thank you.
So I was going to mention what Greg just said as well, and it occurs to me that, I think coming to Ames could check off a lot of your boxes all at once, because you could talk not only to Survey Central, also to some of the Survey teams. We have one here, also to the people at Ames that do the cross-science exploration gig, and also to the USGS. So I hope that this will be high on your list to come see us soon. But the other thing is, we are happy to come to you, because we set up a headquarters survey seminar series a few years ago, and we do a couple of these a year, and I think it's time to probably think about the next one. And what we could do is organize one that is of particular use to you, because like Greg said, we are your institute now in many ways because of our charter. And so I would like to work with you, and Greg would too, just to find out exactly what it is we could present that would be the most use to you, say, in the next few months.
Well, thank you for that, Yvonne. I think that's an excellent idea. Yes, I'd like to do that. So, both sound good to me. I definitely want to get out to Ames as well, but certainly, a forum here would be helpful as well. So as I get my feet under me on this, I will certainly reach out to you and Greg, and we'll see what we can set up.
That's great, Steve. We look forward to that. The most recent one was actually entitled Transformative Lunar Science. That was the Memorial Day week, and we worked with Sarah Noble and others at SMD. I will send you a link to that. It's online, in case you might have enough time to be able to watch that. So, great. Okay, we have.
Yes, I think I see her there. Yep, there she is. Well, I'm going to be relying on her heavily to help get me smart on all of this. So, look forward to working with Sarah and everybody.
Cool. Next question, please. Go ahead.
Taylor Johnson from Series Robotics. Steve, I was just wondering if you could provide some insights for commercial exploitation of lunar resources, especially for ISRU, and basically building infrastructure as we're moving forwards, knowing that there isn't a strict international consensus on property rights and property law on the lunar surface.
Oh, that's an interesting question. Right now, I don't have the level of insight to be able to really give a good answer, but I think as we move forward, we talked about international partnerships. We're going to have to work with certainly the White House on policy, and then on the international front on international agreements as well. What I do need to do early on is find out, from the commercial side, what capabilities are available now, or what is on the drawing board for ISRU from a commercial standpoint. I don't have that insight yet, but as I gain that insight, we're going to need to find a path forward on exactly how to do that with our international partners and the commercial entities as well. And that's going to require, obviously, international agreements and policy from the administration as well. So I have to work through all of it. But luckily, I guess I could say, coming back from that 1 year detail, I at least have a better understanding of how to work the policy issues as well. And of course, in NASA, we've got our international office that we can work agreements. So a lot of resources to lean on to go forward.
Great. Are there any more questions here? It doesn't appear so. It's we were just finishing 3 days of great talks, Steve, and I think people are probably getting a little tired here. So I want to say, and I know I'm echoed by everyone here, thank you so much for doing this, particularly on your first day back at NASA headquarters, and also seeing as it's 7 p.m. there right now. So thanks so much for staying late. These were great answers, and I know we all look forward very much to working with you in the future. So
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Okay, Yvonne. That time.
It's that time. Okay, how many times can I say goodbye? But this has been a fabulous another forum for me, and it's a bonus forum since I didn't think I was going to get to have it. And but it's enough. I don't need to do this again next year. It's time for the new director. But thank you all so much for making it such a warm and wonderful meeting once again.
Yeah, and thanks for me too. This is. I love these. It's been great seeing so many friends, and we wish you the best. Have a great summer, and look forward to seeing you at many meetings in the future.
Yes, and to the moon, right?
To the moon. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.